So I've told you guys several times how tough it is right now in the video game world, specifically on Steam. That is a place where you get buried so easily as a game creator that you kind of freak out. Maybe you try to think of different ways you can almost game the system to get around it. And that's something we saw kind of take place, and it happened very fast. Everything accelerated very quickly to where we went from the beginning and then to the end in like 24 hours. Now, what am I talking about? Well, essentially, on Steam, a game called Wild Busters had a pretty rough launch. So the CEO had a bit of an idea. Let's ask the employees to review the game. Now, on Reddit, there was a post that was made that references an email from December 14th from the company's CEO asking employees to maybe take a look at the game. And this is what he said in the email. Sadly, Wild Busters' revenue has so far not met expectations and will be even more difficult to turn things around during the weekend, as the first day is usually the strongest. We are trailing at 50% of Otherland and 20% of Guardians of Ember. Those are their two other games that they're talking about there. One of the major issues, the fact that we do not have a review score. In fact, we have currently 6 reviews. Probably supposed to say, in fact, we currently have 6 reviews. If I alone count the people in, this is their developing and publishing, IMEI and Insel, I count more than 6 people. I had sent an email earlier, but I was told that some of you announced to colleagues that you do not want to make a purchase of the game and or a review. Frankly, this leaves me pretty disappointed. Of course, I cannot force you to write a review, let alone tell you what to write, but I should not have to. Neglecting the importance of reviews will ultimately cost jobs. If WB fails, Wild Busters fails, Insel fails, IMEI fails, and then we all have to have no job next year. So I'm asking you either of do the following. Buy the game and present me the receipt until Friday night, for which, together with a claim form, you'll be reimbursed within 24 hours, or explain to me tomorrow why you do not wish to do this. I would like to discuss this individually and privately with each of you, and we'll follow up. That seems extremely passive-aggressive, right? It's like, I can't ask you to review it, but can you come in tomorrow if you don't review the game and tell me why you don't want to review it? Because it seems like you're not part of the team. That's kind of what he's saying here, right? It's definitely him leaning on his employees to buy the game and review it. And of course, there's a pretty big conflict of interest there, right? I mean, the developer is going to review their own work in a public setting that can affect sales and help the game climb up. Now, this, of course, resulted in a massive spike in their reviews that took place pretty much right after this email. A day or two after this email went out, their reviews heavily jumped. Like positive reviews, tons of reviews, and then they got a mostly positive rating at that point. That, of course, helped them a bit in becoming more, I guess, more aware of what's going on there with Steam, kind of seeing it with all these reviews and then kind of throwing it in front of everyone saying, oh, it's mostly positive, people are reviewing it, we'll maybe recommend it or put it in the charts a little higher. That tends to be what happens as more reviews come in, especially if it's more positive than negative. But Valve does not want you to do this. In fact, hours after this was posted and verified, they just completely banned Insel and all of their games off of Steam. So Wild Busters and all the others, they're all gone. They're not on Steam anymore. And this is what they had to say on their Steam community post. It has been recently reported on Reddit that the publisher for this game, Insel Games, have been attempting to manipulate the user review score for their titles on Steam. We have investigated these claims and have identified unacceptable behavior involving multiple Steam accounts controlled by the publisher of this game. The publisher appears to have used multiple Steam accounts to post positive reviews for their own game. This is a clear violation of our review policy and something we take very seriously. For these reasons, we are ending our business relationship with Insel Games and removing their games from our store. If you have previously purchased this game, it will remain accessible in your Steam library. To me, this is pretty straightforward. A CEO who is asking their employees to review the game for them, their own work. So it's basically saying, hey, can you grade your own paper for me and put it out there? That'd be great. In this case, they needed those reviews to help really boost visibility of their game. Of course, if you don't have a rating, it gets kind of buried a bit, because sometimes there are ways you can sort by rating, things like that, but if you can at least get maybe that thumbs up, that blue rating, it does help you. Now, Kotaku managed to reach out to the CEO and asked a bit about what happened here and what they think really happened. And this is Insel Games CEO Patrick Streppel saying, at the day of EA launch in December, an email was sent to everyone in the company telling staff, about 20 people, including freelancers, how important reviews are in the Steam ecosystem, and that a failure of Wildbuster would mean the company was in jeopardy. It was meant to rally people's support, including advertising the game to their family and friends, in the hope to simply get more reviews. It was never intended to threaten anyone, but to state the importance of reviews for the whole company. No staff has received penalties for not buying the game or writing a review. There also never were texts or instructions provided for reviews. We sincerely apologize for the misleading wording in the email and the practice in general. So it sounds like, I don't know if they don't understand what they wrote in that email. Maybe their intent wasn't to lean on them as much as they did, but you can let me know, guys, down in the comments. This seems like they were leaning on them heavily to review this game to help it in the rankings. This, I think, shows how desperate you can get for a game if you are pretty much leading them as a CEO. Here's the crazy thing. Wildbuster is an early access game. It's not even like a completed game. To me, if you put out an early access game, you have to understand there will be struggles in the beginning, and that includes sales struggles. It sounds like they were not prepared for the sales that came in at all. Like they were probably on a shoestring budget when this thing launched already, and they were probably scraping the bottom of the barrel here. And if you ask your employees, basically, take a look at it, we'll reimburse you, and if you don't want to, we're gonna have to have a talk, basically. You're gonna have to come to the principal's office, we're gonna have to talk to you about it. To me, that sounds like you're kind of intimidating the employee a little bit. It's what it seems like here. Now, they are apparently appealing the Steam ruling to take their games off of Steam, but Steam's not gonna, I don't think they're gonna put him back on there. It seems pretty clear cut that they had no problems suggesting to review this game. It wasn't that they said it outright. They didn't say, I can't ask you to do it, but maybe consider it, or we'll have to have a talk on Friday, okay? So, think about reviewing that game, or we'll have to have a stern talk in my office, which I'm sure every employee wants to go do, who is now terrified that they will lose their job, their livelihood, the way they pay their bills. So, I'm not sad that they were taken off of Steam. You guys can let me know what you think about the situation down in the comments. To me, it seems like the CEO doesn't really understand what they did, and maybe they should, I guess, find other ways to put their game out there, whether it's through their own website or advertising, because asking the developers who created the game to then review it on Steam is a clear sign of conflict of interest, if you ask me. But yeah, guys, that's it for now. Let me know what you think about the whole situation down below. Do you think this pretty much spells out the desperation right now of some of these up-and-coming companies, these small, they said there were about 20 people or so, maybe less than that, who was working on this? Does that tell you how desperate these companies are to get these games out there? It sure does to me. I think it's pretty clear that they need anything they'll do anything they can to get this out there, even, again, kind of implying that their employees should go and review their own work, which is obviously unethical and against, really, at this point, business ethics, and it's not good. But let me know what you guys think down below. I'm really curious. Maybe you'd be the CEO who'd be like, yeah, we gotta do it. That's what we gotta do, or we're going out of business. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.